Hi, I'm Gareth from Recycle, and today I'm going to go over the newly released Giant Propel. This is a long anticipated bike from Giant. It's blurring the lines between aero and all-round performance and creating a bike that could be right for almost every racer or someone with real high performance in mind. So this third generation of Propels is markedly different from the previous iterations. And you can see that immediately from the shape of the bike. There's a hugely reduced tube profile. And that means it doesn't necessarily look so much as an aero bike, but Giant have got some big claims about its capability and performance. As you can see from this diagram, the reduction in the profile is most noticeable around the top tube and the seat tube. And all that reduction in carbon physically on the bike means that the bike is significantly lighter than previous Propels, and it's lighter than a lot of the aero competition. The high-end Dura-Ace SL version is 6.8 kilos with sealant in. The only thing missing from that is pedals. That's an incredible weight for an aero bike. And all three of these feel fantastically light when you consider what they're designed for. Reducing weight should mean you'd have thought that something's got to give. Either it's not as aerodynamic anymore or it's not as stiff. But Giant claim that's not the case. So we've got a lighter bike, a more aerodynamic bike, and a better stiffness to weight ratio. So this could be an absolute dream machine and a must-have bike for a lot of racers. So let's look at some more of the details. Giant claim there is a saving of 6.2 watts on this bike, making it 27 seconds faster over 25 miles at 25 miles an hour. That's not that bad. That's pretty good. And if you're a time trialist and you're doing 25-mile time trial, getting that 27 seconds out of yourself is difficult. So having the bike do it for you could be the difference between a not bad season and a great season. There's some significant changes to some of the bits that are on the bike, and Giant have taken the whole system into account. They've changed the wheels that it comes with. So in all cases, it now comes with 50mm front and rear, where it was 40/60. There are 4 different wheel options depending on the spec of the bike. 2 of them are Cadex ones, 2 of them are Giant. So they're all tubeless, they're all hookless, and they have a 22.4 internal width and a 30mm external width. So they're a wider wheel than they've previously done. The SL bikes come with Cadex own tyres on, which are specifically shaped to give maximum aerodynamics. They're not the same as all tyres out there. Speaking of all tyres, the tyre clearance on the frames has gone up from 28 to 30mm. However, that comes with a slight caveat. Don't assume that every tyre that is labelled as 30mm will fit this frame. The bottle cages, all the bikes come with their own bottle cages now. Different ones specifically for the down tube and the seat tube. The bike was designed with the bottle cage, and the bottle cages take a standard normal bottle. And a lot of the testing was done with at least one bottle on the bike. 2 places where stiffness has been definitely increased is from the dropouts to the on the seat tubes, which is 10% stiffer, and from the bottom bracket to the dropouts, the key place for acceleration where you really want that power transfer to go, that is apparently 7.5% stiffer. So that's a pretty significant claim on what was already a relatively stiff bike. Now that stiffness should, we'd have thought, mean we've got a more uncomfortable bike. It's going to be a real bone shaker. Not the case, say Giant, because, and mostly this is down to the narrower tubing, the actual compliance of the bike has gone up a huge amount. 85% more compliant, and a lot of that is to do with the tubing, particularly around the back of the seat post. So yes, stiffer where you want it to be, but more compliant where you want it to be. So you've got a comfortable ride, but a more efficient one. So the really key thing that Giant look at all the time, and they did when they were doing the TCR, they looked at the new Defy, and particularly here with the new Propel, they're looking at the stiffness to weight ratio. And their claim is that this bike on the stiffness to weight ratio is 26.4% more efficient. That is big. That's not a tiny bit here and there. That is a significantly more efficient bike. So they look amazing. That's true. They are very keenly priced. True. They are stiffer, more aerodynamic, more comfortable to ride, take bigger tyres. What else can we look at in terms of the spec of these bikes that's different that will convince you that this is the bike for you? Well, how about the cockpit to start with? Let's start at the front of the bike. Really neat. Now, I am the first to admit that the previous Propel had a dog ugly stem. The cable routing came over the top, and a big plastic cover over it, and 2 flaps at either side, and they went down. Absolute pig to work with, and it looked massive. They've completely redesigned this bit. So the routing now goes through the bars, underneath the stem where there's a little hollowed out chamber, and then down through the headset. And they've managed to make space for this by making the part of the steerer tube flat to allow space for the hoses and cables to go through. Now, this is sort of D-shaped, but shouldn't be confused with the D-fuse element on some of their bikes. D-fuse is all about compliance. This steerer tube is all about neatness and getting the cables in down through the steerer. It looks great, as in a neat cockpit on the bike. It's really straightforward and simple to work on. A definite winner and definite improvement on the previous version. There is a nod to simplicity. Their previous bars were a big flat affair, awkward to change in and out. Now the clamp for the handlebars takes a circular bar. The Giant have got their own options for different widths, but it will make it easier to customize your bike if you have a particular preference in bars that you would want to put on there as well. Let's think about the weight saving, which is roughly between 250 and 300 grams per bike. And the bike that's actually got the significant change is the entry level, the advanced version, because that has moved from an alloy steerer tube on the forks to a carbon one. In fact, all the forks on all the bikes in the range are carbon forks and a carbon steerer. They're not all the same though. On the SL, the super light version, it is made from one piece construction. So it's the same piece of carbon all the way through. On the advanced bikes, so the entry level ones, it is 2 pieces epoxied together. So they're not exactly the same. The SL frame, the Superlight, has improved performance down to the higher grade of carbon used, the way the frame's constructed overall. It's got an integrated seat post. It's still got the whole seat tube is the seat post. So it's nothing separate there. All of that means a more improved frame set over the others, but that is expensive relative to the other two. The advanced, the entry-level system is a fantastic frame, slightly lower grade, but still very high grade carbon with the 2-piece fork. And then the Advanced Pro is the same frame as the Advanced, but with the fork from the Advanced SL, so with the 1-piece fork and steerer tube. All the bikes, apart from the Advanced 2, come with electronic group sets. All of them come tubeless ready. All of them come with carbon seat posts. All of them come with the integrated bottle cages as standard. This bike is phenomenal. There's going to be nowhere near enough of them in the country this year in terms of demand and supply. So if you have the chance to get one, get it quick. Go into your local shop and have a look at them. Pick them up, because the weight numbers are meaningless compared to when you actually pick the bike up. If you get a chance to sit on one and have a quick go, you will notice that it feels like a rocket straight out of the box. box. It is an unbelievable bike. It's got to win awards, surely. Let me know what you think. Interested whether you think it's a good looking bike. Is it an improvement, or did you prefer the previous Propel? Is it a significant enough blur to make this much more of an all-rounders bike? Certainly up here in North Wales, there's been very few people that would definitely favour an out-and-out aero bike over an all-rounder because of the mountains and the sort of terrain we've got. This aero bike is one that could well tip the balance. Is this a direction that a lot of brands are going to be going down? Who knows? But it's going to be exciting to find out. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to sharing my news with you next time. Don't forget to like the video if you've enjoyed what I've told you, and subscribe if you want the latest content straight as I release it. Thanks a lot.